Hey guys, it's me again. I just wanted to do a one that's pretty overdue. Should have done this a long time ago. Um, as you've all noticed, I've done various rants about things that I've been into for most of my life. Anime, Harry Potter, my drawings, certain various things. I just recently did one about how I grew up with basketball stuff, hobbies and franchises that I've been obsessed with. But I'm finally doing one now that is overdue that I can't believe I did do earlier. I'm gonna stand up or just sit up straighter, show you my shirt that I'm wearing, another nerd shirt that I bought not too long ago, and I'm gonna introduce today's topic. And ta-da! It is Disney! Now, I grew up in the 90s. I was born in 1989, and the 90s were my childhood, right up until I was about 10 years old. And I grew up with specific underrated Disney films that kids these days haven't even heard of or barely know anything about. And normally I would go ranting on about some of my favorites, and I will in a minute. Like, I'll talk about some of my favorite protagonists and some of my favorite villains and the music, like just various things here and there. But I want to talk about my two favorite Disney characters. I got one that's from when I was a kid that I liked, that I grew up with, and one now as an adult, just in the last decade, or not even that, last 5 years, 5-6 years, just really recent. I'll start off with the recent one because the old one is more special to me. It's more hits home, it's more nostalgic. So I'm going to introduce my my favorite character as an adult is this is Anna, or just Anna from Frozen. Now the reason why I like her is not related to the movie. While I do like Frozen, and I love the music and a lot about it, but there were just certain aspects to her personality that stood out to me. One, of course, everyone knows I'm so biased. I like my redheads. It attracted me straight away. I'll mention a couple of her flaws first, because not everybody is perfect. The main thing about Anna was she was a little bit naive, because she did grow up behind closed doors, and she wasn't really taught much about the outside world, and she did miss out on all the things that related to love. So because she was shut away for so long, she was desperate for that. So I guess that's why she just kind of jumped into engagement with the first cute guy that came her way, I guess. Didn't even question it. So that's pretty naive for her to get engaged or betrothed to a guy she met. Okay, I got a text message. A guy she knew only for a few hours. Well, she met him in the day. It was nighttime, so just that day. So yeah, it was a little bit of she just kind of jumped the gun a little bit there. But, and that was pretty much it though. She could be a little over the top sometimes, but the things that I loved about Anna was, number one, her faith in Elsa. Because most people, I don't get it, because most people like Elsa more because, hey, she's got magic hands and whatever else. But Elsa's personality couldn't be more opposite from Anna. Anna was fearless. She didn't hesitate to jump on a horse and go after her when she needed it, when she ran away. She was optimistic. She never gave up the faith that Elsa would thaw the winter. Like, she always believed that she could do it. Like, she had the belief and strength that Elsa just lacked. Yes, Elsa has magic, but her negativity and her fear just overtook her. She isolated herself. Excuse the pun. No pun intended. Yes, Let It Go was a beautiful song. I think it's overrated. I'll get into the music later. But the parenting that the King Queen gave wasn't the best. They thought it was a good idea to shut her out of the world and hide her powers and try and get her to suppress them and control them. No. When you have a gift of any kind, the best thing to do is to help them embrace it so they can control it to their own will better. Like, look how Elsa was at the end of the film. Anna taught her that love was the key. And once she got that, she wasn't afraid anymore. And she became friends with all the townspeople again. Like, good job, Anna. She went to hell and back, or Blizzard hell and back, to get that message through to, like, she technically died teaching her that. But even, like, she was in circumstances you don't want to get caught in. Like, she got thrown off her horse. And then she fell down a hill, lost her coat, and then landed in a below freezing river or little. That was from the waist down. I don't want to know what kind of feelings were going through her nether regions at the time. It's male or female, you would feel certain things. So she was frozen solid from the waist down. And her general kindness to everyone, like, she'd be a good queen herself. She'd rule with good compassion. And even Kristoff, he was pretty rude when he first met her. And what did she do? After he got thrown out, she still bought the carrots and the hook and rope for him. So yeah, she could have just ignored him because he wasn't the most polite guy. And she's fearless too. Like, she hasn't been outside in the world in 13 years, and he's all like, hold on, we like to go fast, and she's like, no worries, I like going fast. Like, her sense of adventure never got lost. And one of the most gutsy things I think she ever did was when they were being chased away from the ice castle after confronting Elsa and Marshmallow, as we've all deemed him, the big snow monster. Well, she ticked him off in the first place because she threw a snowball at him. It is not nice to throw people. And then she ticked him off and he started chasing them, and then she managed to delay him with the tree snow flick thing. You all know what I'm talking about. And then there's Kristoff with the ties the rope around both their waists. And yes, I know she had a rope around her, and that was for safety, so they wouldn't fall to their deaths. But even still, on the count of 3, she was like, tree, big tree, and she jumped. Okay, she just did a 200-foot bungee jump in the snow. That takes nerve. I reckon even if she didn't have a rope, she probably would have jumped for her life anyway. Like, I don't think she even really thought about it. She just went for it. So I'm like, okay, this girl's got some guts. And earlier on, when the wolves were chasing them in the sled, she just picked up his loot and just went, boosh, it's true love! Yeah, they're like, well, okay. The amount of times that she's death in the face. And the most bravest thing of all, of course, was when she was freezing from the inside out. Her heart was frozen. And she was trying to walk across the lake, or hurry across the lake as fast as she could in that state, to get to Kristoff when she found out, hey, he's coming back. There's your true love, active true love right there. And but the selfless decision to turn away from him and shield Elsa from an oncoming sword. Like if she hadn't frozen up and the sword hadn't been shattered, he would have probably sliced right through her hand. She probably would have lost half her hand. So that was a very brave thing she did. And of course, she was technically dead for a minute, because if you saw when she froze over, there was a final whisper breath that came from her. And she was dead for a second. And then, of course, she thawed out and she was okay. So yeah, but the very moment that Anna became my favorite, where I just kind of was like bowing to her, was when she decked Hans off the boat. Now, a lot of people were thinking, oh wait, isn't Anna the first princess to punch somebody? No, actually she's not. Not many princesses do it, but the first princess to actually punch someone was Jasmine. She did it in The King of Thieves, the third Aladdin movie. The thieves, the bandits, crashed their wedding, and this bandit was like, like he was, and then she taps him on the shoulder, and he turns around, and she just goes, bang! She hits him right. I think she just got him right across here, and she knocked him clean out. He was out, and she's like, "That's for ruining my wedding." So yeah, she was the first princess to officially deck someone. And I'm pretty sure Anna was the next. And she didn't knock him out. It was more the distance she threw him. She punched him, he went flying off the boat. And that was with a doosh. She more a frontal one in the nose. If you frame freeze it, you see her fist and his face looks like swooshed. It's pretty good. Don't ever pause a Disney movie. You don't know what you're gonna see. And she let him get off easy with that, I think, because if you look at the other two, Kristoff, if you look at him, he was like he was coming in for the kill. If Anna let him go, he probably would have beat the heck out of him. He would have beaten him to a pulp. And she was like, ah. And while she's stopping him, if you look to her other side, to Elsa, she's true to her character, giving him this icy glare. It's only for a split second, because she looks at Anna. But I'm like, well, think about your choices, Hans. You can either get pummeled to death by Anna's new boyfriend, or you can get frozen to death by her sister, the queen, or you can do what she just did. She just punched you once and sent you flying off the boat into the water. He got off easy, I think. The other two would have killed him. Yeah, that's when Anna became my favourite. And she just never stopped believing. Even when she was... there was a little minute there that she did lose hope because she thought she was going to die. She was huddled in front of the fire and she was like, I don't even know what love is. I guess there's no point trying to help her sister if she's gonna, if she's not gonna be around. Just for a minute there, I think she lost hope. But then of course Olaf announced that Kristoff's riding back, and she's like, oh, here's my chance. The whole falling in love thing. Okay. Moving on from Anna to shipping. I do ship her with Kristoff. I do. And I've also got this plushie of her. I just want to show that off to you. I bought this a while back, probably a few years back. I do ship her with Kristoff, but I cheated a little because I didn't see Frozen when it came out in the cinemas. I kind of missed out. I watched it by myself in my bedroom with the lights out. Yeah, I watched it that way. But before I saw it, I've got a membership on this site called DeviantArt, it's where I post a lot of my sketches and whatnot, and people comment on them, and I don't really do it anymore. I just go on to look at stuff, really, and I post a Rant thing on occasion. But back then I was still pretty at large with it, that site, and when Frozen first came out, fan art exploded, and a lot of what I saw was Anna with Kristoff, and I was like, oh, well, that must be the guy she ends up with in the end. Like, it was just so clear that that was in game. So in the beginning, when Hans came in on his horse, I was like, who's this guy? That's not who she ends up with. Now, I didn't suspect he was a bad guy or anything, but I knew that there's something had to happen for Anna to switch from her infatuation with Hans to actually falling in love with Kristoff. I think she kind of already was falling for him on their journey, especially when he helped her get back to Hans, but she didn't really accept it because she was convinced Hans was her true love. But I think she had genuine feelings for Kristoff at that point. Kristoff, we all know he was hook, line, sinker in love with her. That's why he raced her back. But I just felt like Hans was just too good to be true. He was this prince, he was good looking, general says the word. He was just too perfect. It was just the typical princess prince matchup, and I'm waiting for something to happen to I was waiting for a curveball of some kind to be thrown at us. So when he was with her in that room and they almost kissed, and then he was like, oh, Anna, if there was someone out there who loved you, I was like, there. And they started revealing how he was 13th in line to his own throne and wanted to take over theirs. I was like, well, there it is. That's why she goes to Kristoff. I was a little bit disappointed. I was like, they made him a bad guy? Okay. But if you look, I went back and I saw little subtle signs here and there that showed that he had ulterior motives, but I won't get into that. Yeah, and I like she's all like, I thought you told me, and I'm thinking back going, I don't recall Hans ever telling her outright that he loved her. If you look at their song at the beginning, Love is an Open Door, I just want to point out this little sign. If you look at their song, Hans actually kept her at a distance. Like, he didn't bring her close and wasn't that intimate with her. He kept her at arm's length. Like, when he picked her up to hold her around, he did this and kind of kept himself away. He didn't try not to get too close to her. While with Kristoff, when she gave him the sled at the end, he was smiling brightly and he picked her up and he twirled her around about 3 times, and of course he blurted out that he wanted to kiss her. So just signs like that showed that Kristoff's feelings were more genuine. But yeah, no, I wasn't expecting the villain curveball. That threw me for a loop. But I thought Kristoff was harder anyway, because if it came to a one-on-one brawl match, Kristoff would win because he was raised in the mountains and he's got more of this, and he's just a tank. He would smother Hans into the ground. But back to so I ship Hannah and Kristoff. And I also I've talked enough about Frozen and Anna and amazingness because she's so cute. Now, on to the next one, The Little Mermaid. This was the movie that I watched a lot in the 90s, the princess that I loved back then. Now, while it's true I did grow up with The Little Mermaid, and I only found out in the last few years why I felt so connected to her. And I just found out, I did announce at the beginning, I was born in 1989, and my childhood was through the 90s. And I found out that the film was created in 1989. So yeah. I don't think it was released for a few years because my mum was telling me that I saw the movie when I was a toddler and I cried because I was scared of Ursula. Not so much now. But Ariel is my girl. I grew up with her. She's right from the get-go. It was Ariel. And just the amount of nostalgia. I've got one of her too. I keep staring at her. That's why I'm looking over there. Both of these figurines were about $38 each from this shop called Zing. I got this shirt from the same store. This was about $25. But a little bit about Little Mermaid. Things I like about Ariel. Okay. She was a little bit hopeless in the final battle. It was actually Eric that killed Ursula with the ship. That was a painful way to die. To get impaled by the spike of a ship and then struck by a lightning. Youch. That's not... Like Morgan said in the second one, she got shish kebabbed. She got impaled and then she got cooked. Fried octopus, anybody? Or she's squid? She's an octopus because I know she has about, I think she has 6 legs. And then I think she's an octopus if you count her hands. I don't know. But Ariel, the one thing I always thought was funny with her was her rebellious stage. Because she was 16. It's normal, you know? And her curiosity of the human race. And she wasn't just disobeying her dad's rules and going up to the surface when she wasn't supposed to. She was collecting human items. And had a little cove with all of them. I'm just like, oh, you bad girl. And of course I totally love her voice actor, Jodie Benson. She's probably one of my favorite singing Disney voices because Ariel's voice is just phenomenal to listen to, and it made Eric fall straight in love with her even if he didn't know who she was. And she does show a little bit of sass towards a few, like when she's with Flounder and she's exploring that ship. And she's like, I'm gonna go in and you can just stay here and watch for sharks. Like, she knows he's a guppy little scared thing. She's like, you can just watch for sharks. I'm like, wow, great best friend right there. I struggle to think of really strong characteristics with Ariel. I guess she showed, after her dad destroyed the cave, that girl knows how to go after what she wants, even if it means entangling with the wrong people. She's like, oh, this lady can make me human, or she can put me with Eric. I'm gonna turn my back on my own dad and go talk to her. Like, she just went for it, even if it was a bit of a bad move. And I saw this hilarious meme. Like, she was adorable when she was on land. I guess it's because she wasn't talking. Someone did this thing. They showed all the screenshots of her exploring Eric's kingdom, and it was a hypothetical sense of what if she hadn't had a voice taken away. And it was just spiel after spiel of her asking question after question after question after question. Like, she just wouldn't shut up. And about everything. Asking about everything around her. And then underneath it was just like, maybe it was a good thing Ariel didn't have her voice. Because she was just... Because remember, she pulled the puppet off the guy's hand. She dragged Eric to the square and they had a dance. He gave her the reins to the horse. Bad idea. And she was like, and they... So yeah, I think her strong sense of curiosity was probably what caught my attention too. Because she sees something she likes and she's more than likely to go after it. She's not scared of that. She did save Eric's neck that one time. Ursula had the trident and she was going to zap him, and Ariel grabbed Ursula's hair and pulled it back, and that resulted in her to aim it further up, and she zapped her, kind of killed her own little pet eels. Yeah, one of the bigger times she showed a backbone or a spine or whatever. I guess in all sense, it is more the movie that is this. It means a lot to me because I'm in love with the music, the characters, just the story. Even if the story is not, the original story was written by Hans Christian Andersen, and it didn't end that well for The Little Mermaid. If you want the brushed down version, she fell in love with the prince and lost her voice, like general story and everything, but then the sisters, I can't remember, it was something about you have to kill the prince and save your own life and come back home. If you don't kill him, you're gonna turn into sea foam bubbles. And she chose not to kill the prince, and she ended up dying. That's just the rundown version. And even more gruesome was that her walking on land with the new feet, it said, what did it say? It said it felt like she was walking on knives or spikes. Like, every time she walked was just immeasurable pain, every step she took. And I guess she got used to that after a while. So yeah, a lot of the Disney movies originated from books that didn't end as great as the movies did, the remade movies did. A couple more things I want to touch up on. My favourite sidekicks and my favourite villains in each one. My favourite sidekick for Frozen is Olaf. He's the embodiment of the connection between Anna and Elsa. Like, he's their childhood happiness. That's why he's so so he's a very important symbol in the film. Go and watch the latest Christmas short that Frozen put out. Okay, Olaf was the one thing that kept the girls connected, even while they were separated. He's so important. He's got such a vital role in the film. And it's even more special that Elsa created him and made him alive, made him a living creature. So yeah, I love Olaf. I think Sven's a close second because it's Sven. He's a deer that acts like a dog. And then in The Little Mermaid, my favourite sidekick is Scuttle, the seagull, because he's just how wrong he is about the way humans behave. He acts like he knows all about them, but he could not be more wrong. Like a fork, he called it a dingle hopper, and apparently we use them to brush our hair. And the smoking pipe, he called a snarf blat, which apparently we blow to create music. And I was like, oh crap, music! I'm late for, oh no, the concert! And just as Scuttle, while she was in the boat with Eric, Scuttle, thinking he's creating a romantic atmosphere, excuse me. Yeah. And then there's poor Eric going, whoa, someone should find the poor thing and put him out of its misery. And Ariel facepalm, she's so funny. She's like, so he thinks he's helping her with the human knowledge, but he really isn't. They hid this fact very well, but when she first comes out of the ocean as human, she is only wearing the shell bra. She's not wearing anything else. Like, she's from here, from under her bra down, she's naked. Sure. I'm like, that's a good thing he put that sail on her. Can you imagine if Arrow came out a few minutes earlier and saw her like that? Whoa. Thank goodness it was a G-rated Disney film. Or... And, yeah. He made her look like a shipwrecked mute maid from a pirate ship or something. I don't know. Now, moving on to villains. My favorite Disney villains aren't actually in these movies because while Ursula's cool, like she plays a good villain in her body language. Woo! I don't care about the Frozen villains because I can't stand Hans, and you've also got the Duke of Weaseltown, and he's just power hungry. Like, he just wanted to, as he quoted, exploit their riches. Like, he was just a old geezer that didn't know any. He was just not even worth mentioning. No, my favorite Disney villain is Hades from Hercules, and he is the portrayal of how Disney villains should always be. They've got a plan that he was so close to victory that it was just about, he shut Olympus down for a little bit there. Like, he's a legit bad guy. And he was willing to, and he even tricked Hercules into giving up his powers. Like, he was legit. But he was complete package for me because not only was he a decent bad guy for the plot, but he was hilarious. He had the best comic relief. So even though things were dire and whatever, he gives you those little snickering, giggling parts in between because he just has funny lines. But he's on par with Meg. Okay, when it comes to protagonists or people that are heroes or whatever, Meg is my favorite. Like, right at the end, his parents were like, you were willing to give your life to save this young woman from the river of death. Are you kidding me? Meg did give up her life. She pushed Hercules out of the way and got crushed by that column. Like, she legit died for him. I'm like, where is the recognition for that sacrifice that she gave? And I'm touched that Hercules gave up his godhood to stay with her. It's pretty selfless of him. But I just feel like Meg didn't give her the attention she wanted after the brave thing she did. Like, after all the little bits of treachery that she did, man, that girl redeemed herself. She made up for it. And she's sassy and I was like, well, you know how it is when they think no means yes and get lost means take me, I'm yours. I didn't say that very well, I started through it. Anyway, okay. So yeah, Hades is my favorite Disney villain. Now, I've got a favorite animated villain. He's not Disney. His name is Ruba. And he's from The Quest to Camelot. If you don't know what, look it up. Okay, it's a really good film. It's pretty old. And I like him because he has some of the best lines. He's so funny and he is totally insane. He's power hungry. He wants to get Excalibur for himself. This is Arthur and the Round Table kind of era. And he's just obsessed with getting the sword and taking over Camelot. But he's got that eye twitch thing going on. He's just nuts. So I highly recommend, if you haven't seen it, please go watch it. It's so funny. And if you don't think he's funny, then the two-headed dragon that goes along with the heroes, Cornwall and Devon, they're also the comic relief. But I've always loved Disney, always will love Disney. It's a part of my childhood. It's my two favorite girls right here. And she just lost her head. What'd you do, Ariel? Go see the Queen of Hearts? I'll hold it like this. I've got the one that offers the most nostalgia. I've got the one that I admire her personality the most. They're not the only redheads in Disney. Merida's one. I did like Merida. She was one of the few Disney princesses that rejected marriage. Like, she didn't want to get married. She wasn't ready. Yes, I'm attracted to redheads. I got these two. My favourite anime character is Urza from Fairy Tail, who's also a redhead. She's a bit more... kind of the red on the shirt. Yeah. I'd show you on my phone case, but... But anyway, that's my spiel for Disney. And I'll try and think of something else to rant about. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and goodbye from my two girls. I'll see you all later.